What's up, guys? Hockey Dude 1940 here. We are back with another episode of our Let's Talk NHL series. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 2015 NHL Draft Lottery. And I know I'm a few days late to upload this. That's just because I was away all weekend, and I didn't get back, of course, until late Sunday night. In the past couple nights, I've just been busy, and I haven't been able to record anything. But I'm back, and the draft lottery, the Edmonton Oilers. God, man, the Edmonton Oilers, they win the lottery yet again, and they're going to get the first overall pick in the 2015 NHL entry draft. Most likely, 99.99% sure they are going to pick Connor McDavid. I mean, it's not even 99; it's 100%. McDavid will be an Edmonton Oiler. Unless some team comes and offers the world for the first overall pick, McDavid will be an Oiler. And man, I was so disappointed and shocked, and I'm sure everyone was. I've seen the YouTube videos and all the comments and and everything like that. People going nuts about the lottery. And I was really hoping, a team like Toronto or even Carolina or especially Buffalo, I was really hoping one of those teams would win it. Just an Eastern Conference team. Just because, now that he's in Edmonton, I won't be able to watch him very much just because, I live in the East Coast. I'm a Rangers fan. I might only be able to watch him like once, maybe twice a year. And, those games will be starting at like 10 o'clock anyway, 10 p.m., depending on if it's in Edmonton or New York. So, I won't be able to see much of them, which kind of sucks. Being a fan of an Eastern Conference team, I get to watch guys like Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin all the time. I don't get to see guys like Jonathan Toews and, Anze Kopitar or Shea Weber. I don't get to see those guys play very often just because, they're in the Western Conference. But, same thing is going to go for McDavid. But, man, that sucks that he went to, that Edmonton just had to win it again, man. They do not deserve crap. They really don't. They've just gotten first-round picks handed to them year after year. They don't even finish dead last every single year. They just keep winning the lottery. It's not fair. 2010, they got Taylor Hall. 2011, Nugent Hopkins. 2012, Nail Yakupov. 2013, Darnell Nurse. I think he was actually the lowest pick, like 7th overall or something like that. 2014, Leon Draisaitl, like 3rd overall. And then this year, Connor McDavid, 1st overall. I mean, 4 first overall picks in 6 years. 6 straight top 7 picks. I mean, that's just... Oh, man, it's not even just the picks, it's the value of it. They just got handed the future, Sidney Crosby. It's not even like it's a question. Oh, oops, I dropped my controller. And we can't seem to find a shootout. Whatever, I'm just going to keep trying and keep talking while I try to find one. This gives you time to talk, this is good. I don't have to do it at the end. But, they just got gifted, the future superstar of the National Hockey League, the future face. Looks like we found a game. But, it's not even a question with Connor McDavid. It's not like a thing, like a Yakupov or even a Nugent Hopkins or an Ekblad, a first overall pick where it's like, well, he could be this good, he's supposed to be this good. We'll see how it turns out in, a few years, 5 to 10 years. This kid is a guarantee. He is going to be this good. He's going to be a generational player. Yeah, he's going to be that good. And for Edmonton to just be gifted that player after all the picks that they've gotten, they're still a crap team. And especially because I think they fit perfectly with that 3rd overall pick, just because Noah Hanifin, the defenseman, the best defenseman in the draft, he's projected to go number 3. So, and that's where Edmonton was. And, a defenseman like Hanifin, that would really help the Oilers. They've got some young defensemen. He would have really, not stacked the defensive core, but, really helped out their defense. He could have been a future top 2 for them. but no, they got gifted Connor McDavid instead. The Arizona Coyotes. I'm really glad actually that they didn't get McDavid. I don't think Arizona deserves crap either. They shouldn't even be a team. But they for them it was basically okay. We have Jack Eichel in place at number 2. Now let's see if we win the lottery to get number 1. Well, they didn't get number 1 or 2. They slipped down to number 3. I mean, they're gonna. I'm not sure if they're gonna go with Noah Hannafin. I would assume that they do. I think Hannafin's left-handed, so maybe putting him next to Ekman Larson in the future wouldn't be, perfect, but it would put their defense in the right direction for the future. And then as far as number 4, 5, I know Dylan Strome, Mitch Marner, and those types of guys are supposed to be going in there. My projected top 5 would be number 1, Connor McDavid to the Oilers. Number 2, Jack Eichel to the Sabres. Those are pretty much guarantees. Number 3, Noah Hannafin to the Coyotes. Number 4, I think Dylan Strome will go to the Toronto Maple Leafs. And then number 5, I see Mitch Marner is picked by the Carolina Hurricanes. So this is how I see the top 5 going. I'm not going to make like a 30-pick mock draft because it's just impossible to predict. Sometimes the top 5 doesn't even work out to how the mock draft goes. So why do a 30 pick mock draft? But yeah, I mean, the Edmonton Oilers. But now, is it time for some of those forwards to be shipped out? I mean, their top 6 looks pretty filthy now, or at least it should in the future. With your top 2 centers being Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I mean, that should be one of the best 1-2 punches at center in the NHL eventually if Nugent-Hopkins, eventually can get those, consistent 70-plus point seasons, or even 65-plus, and if McDavid does turn out to be, the next Sidney Crosby, that's just an amazing 1-2 punch at center. You have Taylor Hall in the left wing, and then you have Jordan Eberle and Nail Yakupov at the right wing. You also have Darnell Nurse. How did that slip in? I thought I hit that twice. Let's see this, Andrew Ferentz, and now it just slipped in. But what position does Leon Draisaitl actually play? Because I thought he was kind of like a center / left wing. I'm not sure which position he played in Edmonton this year. I know he didn't play many games, but I'm not sure if he's supposed to be like a future third line center. I know he was the top 3 pick, but is he going to be like a future third line center? Second line left wing. What is he supposed to be? Because out of all the guys, I'd say Nail Yakupov and Leon Draisaitl actually have the most trade value, or not the most trade value. They're the names I've heard the most about, being shipped out of Edmonton. And I think that would honestly be a good idea. Trade those 2 guys, maybe package them in a deal to get a goaltender. That's really what they need. Defense, goaltending, to me, they need a goaltender before they go. I mean, it depends on what they can get their hands on. A starting goaltender or a top 2 defenseman. If they can get one of those 2 things with Yakupov and Draisaitl, maybe ship them out in separate deals to get those 2 pieces, then do that. Trade Yakupov for a future, young defenseman. I don't know what type of team, not necessarily this trade exactly, but, kind of like a Nail Yakupov to, like, the Philadelphia Flyers for a, what's his name? Like a, now I'm forgetting his name. Like a Shane Gostisbehere or something like that. Samuel Morin, that's his name, Sam Morin. Trade Yakupov to a team that, is looking for another scoring forward and get a young defenseman back, and then trade Draisaitl and maybe something else to another team for, a goaltender, kind of like the New York Rangers. They have Cam Talbot in the backup. His trade value is at its highest right now. Maybe I'm not saying I want this or I think this will happen, but something like a Draisaitl to the Rangers for Cam Talbot or something like that. Trade those young forwards away. Get some defense and goaltending back. They have a bunch of veterans that they just don't need and just aren't going to fit in the future. Guys like Teddy Purcell, Derek Roy, Benoit Pouliot, Andrew Ferentz on the point. These guys, they were able to ship out Jeff Petrie this year, but there's so many veteran guys that they're just not going to fit for the future. So ship all those guys out, get some draft picks, get some younger players. I don't know how many more years it's going to take for Edmonton to get better. The Penguins, they drafted Sidney Crosby, and, just a few years later they were Cup contenders. So, but then again, they did also draft Malkin and Fleury and Jordan Staal and Letang. It wasn't just Crosby, but the funniest thing about it, though, was that during the draft lottery, when Bill Daly was flipping the cards, after that, when they brought out Connor McDavid after the Edmonton Oilers won it, he didn't look very excited. I saw an article that he would have been proud to wear the blue and white. If he had gotten drafted by the Maple Leafs, even the Sabres, he would have been happy to go to Buffalo. But Edmonton, when he walked out and they what was his name, like George Stroumboulopoulos, or however you say his name, was interviewing him, and I was asking him, how does it feel to, the team number one, the Edmonton Oilers, could be the possible team to pick you first overall, and he didn't seem very excited, and that just, that just made me laugh. Just because he had the same feeling as everyone. At least I would think he had the same feeling as everyone. Looks like I got signed out of PSN. What? Okay. I don't think it actually signed me out, did it? Let's see this online shootout. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I am back. For whatever reason, my connection just dropped. So it looks like we can't get into another shootout. But I'll try to wrap things up. But yeah, McDavid, it looks like he had sort of the same feeling as everyone else did, just shock and maybe even a little bit of disappointment about going to Edmonton. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I would have loved to have seen him go to Buffalo, and that's the funniest thing is that the Buffalo Sabres have now lost 2 straight draft lotteries. Last year, I think this is actually, how many years in a row is that now? I think that's 4 years in a row? At least 4 years in a row. Because I know in 2012, Columbus lost the lottery to Edmonton. 2013, Florida lost it to Colorado. That's right, yeah, McKinnon. 2014, Buffalo lost it to Florida. So Florida got their revenge there. And then this year, Buffalo lost it to Edmonton. So Buffalo has lost 2 straight lotteries in a row, and if they had won those 2 lotteries, they would have Aaron Ekblad and Connor McDavid. Just think about that. If they had drafted Aaron Ekblad and he had played for the team, maybe they wouldn't have finished last, and had the best odds. But just looking at it as it could have been, they could have potentially had Aaron Ekblad, the future star defenseman of the NHL, and Connor McDavid, the future face of the NHL, pretty much. So they ended up with Sam Reinhart and Jack Eichel. Obviously 2 not so bad consolation prizes. They have a filthy 1-2 punch at center in the future. Those will be the 1-2 punches to watch. In the East, Jack Eichel and Sam Reinhart against Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. That'll be pretty cool to see. Maybe, who knows, in 10 years or maybe even less time, we'll see Buffalo against Edmonton Stanley Cup Final. Never thought I'd say this, but I'd love to see that, just to see McDavid and Eichel go against each other. But that's long in the future. We'll still see. Things can happen. Injuries can happen. We'll see. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Edmonton Oilers winning the draft lottery and Connor McDavid possibly being the next Edmonton Oiler. So yeah, let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.